having this like stretching pain. And my doctor, like you always say, like, it's not normal. My doctor was like, that's normal. Like, you're fine. Like, wear the belly support thing. And I was a pregnant person who wasn't like, I didn't pop until the very end of my pregnancy because it was my first. And so, like, the belly support thing, like, didn't work. I was like trying to do like hip flexor stretches that I knew from like exercising and working out, but like that wasn't working. So, like, it really helped to like sit down and talk with you and like figure out like follow your plan, follow everything, do my nightly exercises which made my pregnancy like that much more enjoyable, which made sleeping that much more enjoyable. Like all of those things like totally saved me.
You are listening to Belly Birth Beyond with Pelvic Floor Mama. I'm your host, Becca Boeving, pelvic rehab certified coach and mom of two. Welcome to the safe space where no topics of motherhood are off limits and judgment is left at the door. Too many mamas are dismissed when they've got valid concerns. If you're sick of hearing that's normal when it feels otherwise, keep listening. Welcome back to Belly Birth and Beyond. I'm excited again. I keep saying this, but we have another mom from the community joining us. Her name is Hilary. I was just looking back at when we first sat down and did like a one-on-one, and it was
Mhm.
January.
Oh my gosh. It's
Doesn't that
so
seem like
crazy.
forever ago?
Yeah. Yeah. I like that was like I was like halfway through my pregnancy of like 20 weeks. Yeah, it seems like forever ago now.
It does, but also
It
it's like,
seems like yesterday, but also forever ago.
yes, I can totally relate to that. Because I was looking, I was like, was that really January? Like, how has that much time gone by?
I know, it's insane. It's totally insane. But yeah, my pregnancy though, like it was like so easy. I I like to talk about it, but then I hate talking about it because normally when you hear about people talking about their pregnancies, it's like horror stories. You're like, it was the worst thing ever. My pregnancy was super easy. The only thing that I had that was awful was the round ligament pain, and that's why I like found you. And I was like, I obviously suffered for about 10 weeks with it because I started noticing it about 10 weeks pregnant that I was having this like stretching pain. And my doctor, like you always say, like, it's not normal. My doctor was like, that's normal. Like, you're fine. Like, wear the belly support thing. And I was a pregnant person who wasn't like, I didn't pop until the very end of my pregnancy because it was my first. And so, like, the belly support thing, like, didn't work. I was like trying to do like hip flexor stretches that I knew from like exercising and working out, but like that wasn't working. So, like, it really helped to like sit down and talk with you and like figure out like follow your plan, follow everything, do my nightly exercises which made my pregnancy like that much more enjoyable, which made sleeping that much more enjoyable. Like all of those things like totally saved me. And I also think towards the end too, when it came to like go time, having the baby too.
Yeah, and that was awesome. So you were having round ligament pain, and and we talked about going what to do for that and things to help. How long do you think it took before you were like feeling better? Because you were in pain for so long, and some
Mhm.
moms just even at 10 weeks they're like, I guess this is just gonna like this is my life the next 30 weeks, and they just kind of get through it. But it's it's challenging, like mentally, physically, emotionally. Like I just can't imagine being in pain for that long.
Uh, Totally. So the two things that I think contributed to helping me feel better was I didn't stop moving. So I didn't like I took your stretching plan, but I also like throughout my whole pregnancy, I'd say until I was about 35 weeks, no, 37 weeks, I was walking 4 to 5 miles a day. Now, like I'm not, I was walking in my very flat, small town, like there's no hills, but it's what my mom and I did every day after I got off of work. We'd go on these like hour and a half walks, moderately paced, nothing crazy. I would do these walks and then I would sit down, and before I went to bed at night, I was doing all my like the whole like stretching routine. And I think that's what helped me. And so I would say within like 4 days of being consistent, my pain was truly gone. Now, don't get me wrong, like, and I think you know this too, you have this giant belly, right? Like,
Yes,
so
you do.
moving is going to be difficult. Like, it's not like getting in and out of bed, like, you can't just like pop up, and I'm used to just like lifting like with my abs and my core. Well, you don't really have abs when pregnant. So like you telling me like how to properly get out of bed and stuff, like all of those things truly like helped me, feel better throughout my pregnancy. But obviously towards the end, like you get the other unpleasant things that come sometimes with being pregnant, like the lightning crotch and stuff like that. And the stretching doesn't really help.
It's hard when they're kicking you on the cervix.
Yeah, exactly. Or like, she's in your ribs and you're like driving and you're like, okay, I understand you don't like the car, but I gotta get to where we're going, you
Yep.
know? But yeah, I would say within like 3 to 4 days and like just like the constant movement, I I was active before I got pregnant. Like I was lifting, I was doing stuff, but I had taken a break. My husband was competing in the Paris Olympics. We got married and then we immediately got pregnant. And I didn't feel like I wasn't the person that was doing CrossFit or anything crazy. So I didn't want
Yeah.
to go into the gym and like start like throwing weight or anything. But I did stay active. Where I felt comfortable being active was consistently walking. And I really didn't pick up a weight my whole pregnancy, but I walked and sometimes I'd walk with ankle weights or a weighted vest in my early months, but it was nothing crazy. But I do think like walking, kept me healthy throughout. Like, and I was on track with, I gained about 43 pounds in my pregnancy, which like is healthy. I had a healthy 7-pound baby, like, and I'm not back to where I was before 2 months postpartum, and nor do I expect to be. But I do think like exercising and keeping healthy, like, helped because I felt great throughout my pregnancy. And then adding in those stretching and stuff really helped.
Yeah, I love that you said that the movement helped, like just walking in general, something that
Mhm.
anyone can do. And if it's like if you guys live in an area where I mean, we're not in winter months, but I'm already dreading the winter months coming.
Yeah.
I'm a
I
summer
will s
girl through and
Yeah,
through.
I am blessed I live in San Diego, so it's,
Yes.
like, perfect walking weather all year long. Like, I did maybe put on, like, a down vest and you're like, "Girl, I'd probably be in shorts in that weather," and I was bundled up like I was in the snow, but, that I do think helps. But I was
Yeah.
also tempted. I also asked my boss at one point, I was like, "Can I get a walking pad for my desk?"
Yes. Yeah.
And he and then he was like, "Yeah, but, like, you'd have to buy it and blah, blah, blah," and I was like, "Okay, then I don't want it."
Yeah, you're like, I was hoping you would buy it for me.
Yeah, and, like, install it and put it in there because I, like, can't carry it being pregnant,
Yeah.
but, you know.
That's the thing, like, there's the walking pads, if anyone has one, or there's the treadmill, so if it's not like, if you are getting into winter seasons or things like that, you can still walk, like, it's something that everyone has access to, is what I was trying to say, and it's something that can be simple, and I think and so often when we have pain in general, like, pregnant or not, we're like, "Oh, don't do anything. Just, like, sit, rest, relax, like, try to
Mhm,
see how it goes," but a lot of times that, like, makes things worse, which sounds I know some people are probably like, "What?" I always feel better. There's like a good balance between the 2. And
mhm.
so finding what works for you is really important. And it's hard if you're someone who's struggling to move in general, like it hurts like heck to walk. Like pubic pain is different than ligament pain, right? So
Mhm.
if they're struggling with the pain in the pelvis where it feels like their pubic bones ripping apart, I can imagine walking is not going to feel the greatest thing for them because that's what
Totally.
increases their pain. But there's other things that you can do that will help with your pain and things like that. So that was how you were you already following me at that point or were you just like searching the web like help me
No,
figure this out?
Well, it's like that creepy thing where like technology like hears you
Knows what
talk
you're
about
yeah.
things. And so I was getting like a few people like you like showing up on my Instagram feed. And then you just consistently started showing up. And I was
Okay.
like, I'm gonna follow her. And like I followed you. I was doing some of your exercises. And then I looked at my husband one day and I was like, listen, I want to get this like down. Like, I'm gonna buy the program. This is only gonna help me prep for labor. Cause and I think I told you this in our first meeting. I was kind of hell bent until about 7.5, 8 months about going all natural through
Okay.
labor, like no
Yeah.
epidural,
Yeah.
like maybe something to take the edge off, like a little IV push of something, but no epidural. And so I was like pretty like that's what I want to do. For me too, it was like I want to find something that I can do to prepare my body to give birth versus like so I can go without having the epidural. That was like in my mindset. I don't know why I thought that. Well, I guess I do know. I never had given birth before. I was like, it's gonna be easy. Like I like had foot surgery and didn't take, the meds after foot surgery. I can give birth. Hindsight's 2020. But I did like I was like, I want to prepare my body the best I can for that final moment. And so that's what really got me to like buy your program to be a part of the community was because I wanted to know, I wanted to get in the best shape to give birth. 'Cause I'd never done it before. Yeah, I was an athlete. Yes, I worked out, getting in shape for my wedding. So I was in really good shape when I got pregnant. But that's a different type of shape than it is to getting in like ready to give birth shape. So,
Yeah, for sure. What do you think is so I like the comparison. Like
mhm.
I was an athlete, I worked out, I was in shape for my wedding, but giving birth was a different type of shape. And this is probably something you might not be able to put in words as I put you on the spot here, but if you had to think about this, what do you think the biggest difference is between the two? Like especially as someone who's never given birth before and they're trying to prepare or think about like different ways, what would you say is the biggest
so
difference?
So my biggest thing that like even now that I've been cleared to work out and I'm back in the gym, what I've noticed for me is now I focus way more on my breath work and like really focusing on contracting muscles more than I did before. And I know like that might be like, oh, well, you might have had really bad coaches or whatever. No, it's just different. Like when you're in that position, like, pushing and like doing those things, like I texted my personal trainer after I gave birth and I was like, I'm pretty sure I pushed her out in 20 minutes and in 10 pushes because of like the training we've done without like knowing that it was preparing me for birth, but then
Mm-hmm.
also realizing like, oh, that's what you were trying to get me to do while working out,
Yeah.
like
Yep.
breathing out when you're going through the hard part of
Yeah.
the squat
Yep.
or whatever, like so that for me, like now I've taken what I did in birth and put it back into my workouts. But yeah, that was the biggest thing I would say is like that's kind of the difference for me is putting them together. But then also like before giving birth too, now I'm noticing such an important aspect of stretching, such an important aspect of like really engaging your muscles and like into your core. Cause I don't remember on our first call, like I was barely showing, but I already had coning.
I do remember. Yeah.
And so
We
like for
talked about
me,
that. Yeah.
like I was like, ooh, like I knew, like mentally, I was like, I know that if I don't work on this now and
Mm-hmm.
engaging my core and breathing, and like a lot of the times it can just be sitting on the ball, which I know you say doing breath work to engage your core. It's like, I know if I don't do this work now, like my separation isn't going to get any better.
Yep.
It's only going to get worse. And then, like, the aftermath. You want your abs to go back to normal and like
Yeah. Yeah.
look like you did when pre-babies, late teens, early 20s is the dream.
We
Uh,
wish.
I I hired a I worked with a doula also towards the end of my pregnancy.
I love that.
Her husband was actually my husband's athletic trainer on the national team.
Oh, okay. I love
Yeah,
that connection.
yeah, so it was really awesome because her husband and my husband were super close. Like he had been the athletic trainer, I think, for at least the last two Olympics with my husband. And so he knew, like they knew us well. Like she knew my husband well through her husband and vice versa. But one thing she said to me, and this kind of goes back to like talking about my abs coming back together and stuff. She goes, Hillary, like you're becoming a butterfly, and butterflies never go back into their cocoon.
Hmm.
So like enjoy being this like brand new, like beautiful butterfly that's like changed and you're beautiful in a new, beautiful way. But you can never go back fully back into your cocoon. She goes, you can get close. Like you can, she's like, you'll get close, but you'll never be the same. And like embrace that and like move, like embrace your new body. Like, because your body is actually doing something super crazy, super cool, and amazing right now. So embrace that change. And so that's where I'm at like now mentally is like embracing the change, like slowing down, taking care of myself. But yeah,
That
I think I
postpartum shift is so hard.
so hard.
I don't know if you felt that way, but that postpartum shift, and I, not to cut you off, but that was like so hard for me. And I think it's
Hmm.
because coming from, like, you're an athlete, I was an athlete, coming from that background and then having a baby, like, it's not a bounce back, right? Like, you're not going to get there in like 2 months. You're not going to, but then
Mm-mm.
once you get a little bit further, it's like all of a sudden you start, at least I did. And like, and I don't, I mean, we'll have to talk. I sounds like you had the right help and support early on
Hmm.
to already change your mindset. And
Hmm.
I don't think I really had that at all.
Yeah, and
I had one of my friends who was always super helpful, like, Becca, you gave birth, like, you are like, and she was really great and stuff, but it's
yeah, like I say this to all my friends here in San Diego. I like if I could be best friends with my OB, I'd be best friends with my OB, like if it wasn't inappropriate. Also, I don't know if she wants to be best friends with me, but like I want to be best friends with her.
that's fair.
But I remember because I like literally we got pregnant on my honeymoon. Every girl for the most part does whatever they can to be on their best shape on their wedding day, right? Like you're doing everything to like look your best, whatever. And for me, like I achieved that. Like I got my like hot like bride bod. And of course, I got pregnant on our honeymoon. And I remember I walked into my doctor's office and I was like, I nervous about like the weight gain. Like I just lost all this weight. She goes, you're having a baby, honey. Like, get over it. I was like, okay. And I was like, one day I came in and like you hit like you jump, right? Like your
Yeah, you
weight
do
just
jump.
sometimes like you walk in and you're like, oh my God, I put on 10 pounds. Like this is the end. I'm now,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it's all out the window. And so I kind of
Yep.
was like that. And she was like, yeah, I had that. She goes, I'll never forget, like, I was pregnant with my first or second. And she goes, and I had Panda Express when I was like on overnight at the hospital. And she goes, and I'm still trying to lose that 5 pounds that I swear that Panda Express gave me. Like, she's like, get over it. And I was like, not like get over it. Like, she was
Yeah.
very like nice
Yeah.
about it, but it was kind of like, you're having a baby. Like, your
Yep.
baby's eating. Like,
Yep.
it's fine. And then you go into I went into ultrasounds and she was always like, she was a little like tiny thing. And I was like, oh, great. Now I'm not eating enough. And my doctor was like, no, you're fine.
Like,
Like,
two
you're doing,
two sides of it.
yeah, it's very different. She was like, don't put that on you. Like, your baby's growing. And I was like, okay, but well enough. And she was like, yes, you're going to have a very good sized baby. I promise you. And I did. But yeah, but the postpartum shift is like totally hard. I'm looking at clothes in my closet and I'm going back to work tomorrow. So I'm like looking at my work clothes and I'm like, yeah, I don't know if any of my pants are gonna zip, but we'll do the whole lay on the bed and suck in and hope. Is It's a huge shift. And the one thing that I am so lucky my husband let me do is signed up for a clothing subscription, like through like one of those like clothing rental companies
Oh, yeah.
throughout my whole pregnancy and even now. So like at least I'm getting like cute new clothes to make
Yeah.
me feel a little bit better.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a mind shift, like, because you do think like, oh, I should be, back at it. Social media lies to you,
Oh,
like
yeah. It's
that's
terrible.
not reality.
I don't know what I expected with my first, but I remember postpartum rocking my world. Like, I ended up with a C-section, so like different clothing already was challenging in itself. But then like my clothes didn't fit, but then also my husband's clothes didn't fit me. Like it was like this
Yes.
weird like thing. And I remember one of my friends she's probably 42 now, so she's like one of my older friends, but her kids are like, I don't know, 5 years older than mine or something.
Hmm.
And she was like, and she asked, how are you doing? I go, I'm like, honestly, I'm struggling. Like, nothing fits me. I don't want to leave the house. It's summertime. It's hot. Like, even my maternity clothes, I can't wear. Like, I'm just like in this awkward, like, mess.
Yeah, yeah.
And she was like, she sent me a couple breastfeeding shirts that were tanks that were really cute. And then a couple like loose shorts that actually fit me. And I
Hmm.
literally cried. I just sent her the picture. I was like, oh, this just came in. Like, what? It was so sweet because I
Yes.
didn't prepare for that. And I was like the first of my friends to have a baby. And so
Hmm.
I didn't know what to expect. And I feel like, and my cousin who had a baby, who's 2 years older than I am, she was 19 when she had her baby. And I'm pretty sure she walked out of the hospital wearing the same clothes like clothes before she was pregnant. Like, it's just different. And so I'm like, what? Like, it just rocked my world.
No, yeah. No, I totally get that. Like I used to like my husband's 6'5", like he's huge. And I used to like put on his t-shirts and they'd be dresses. And then you put them on and you're like, wait, why isn't this covering my butt?
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
what is happening? Like this isn't like his XL shirts used to like go mid-thigh. Like what is happening? Or I don't know, like it's even that like almost that like new like that postpartum blur. Like I'll be like, oh, I look really cute. And then I'll be like, oh, let's take a picture. And I was like, whoa, that is not what I thought I looked like. That like yeah, no. Like my husband will be like, can I post this? And I'm like, absolutely not. Like, no, we are not, or so it is. It's a total mind
It
warp.
is.
It's a total, and then I, at least for my whole pregnancy, because my husband was away, I felt like a lot of and then you're carrying the baby, right? So it's
Yeah.
all on you to like keep this little human safe. Like every morsel you put in your body, like you have to make sure it's good. Then people are like asking you, like, can you eat that? Like, can you do that? And it's like, yes, like I can. Like I know
Yeah.
what I'm doing. I've talked to my doctors, I've talked to people. But so that's like super anxiety, right? Like because you're
Yeah. It can be
responsible
for
for
sure.
that.
Yeah.
Like, and like so for my whole pregnancy, like I was by myself. So I was like even more hyper on it because I was like, gosh, forbid I do something wrong and something happens to me or to the baby. Like, I don't want that. So I was super anxious, and then you go into postpartum and it's like, am I producing enough breast milk?
Oh my God.
Am I eating enough? Like, is it bad if I give her formula? For instance, I had a pediatrician appointment today. Like, tell me that my babies are in this like certain percentiles, and I'm like, well, those seem kind of low. Is that normal? Like, is her head growing? Is she long enough? Like, is she eating enough? It's just like it just becomes more anxiety. That's like a whole other beast, like in the postpartum world. And like I'm trying to give myself like more and more grace, but then at the same time, like you just feel like everything's coming down on you as a mom.
Oh my gosh.
And so
Yes.
I feel so bad. Like sometimes to my husband, I'm like snapping and,
Hmm.
not as fun and lively as I was before baby and before pregnancy, but it's like it's stressful until you
It's
can
hard.
find your groove.
It really
Yeah.
is. And no one expects you to find your groove right away. Like the fact that you're going back to work tomorrow, like I'm sending you all the positive vibes and hoping you have a great day. But
I mean,
even
I
at
am,
like, go ahead.
yeah, I'm blessed. Like, I'm working a hybrid schedule, so I only
Oh,
have to
that's
go
so
in
nice.
2 days a week. But yeah, it's still a lot. Like, I used to
Hmm.
give my all into my career, and I already know, like,
Yep.
my heart is still there in some regards, but that's not my world anymore. Like,
Yeah.
my job used to be my world, like my obsession. Like, now it's gonna be like a hard stop at 3:30 when I get off of work. It's like, okay, phone's off, away. Like, there's gonna be no checking it before bed or anything like that.
I'm so proud of you. Setting those boundaries right now. I'm going to check
Yeah.
in 2 months and make sure we still have those
Yeah, we'll
boundaries.
see.
Not saying that
Fingers
you'll
crossed.
cross them, but I think that's
Yeah.
amazing that you already have, like, you've already set those expectations and have those boundaries in place, because so often the pressure to be a working mom and just to be a mom in general, whether you're working or you stay
Hmm.
at home, like no matter what it is, there's a different type of pressure. And as someone who's, I mean, I feel like I've done both, even and to a certain extent, it's
Yeah.
hard and it's challenging, and there's not one that's better than the other, and they're like,
Hmm.
you want to be there for your career and you want to be the best employee or like best at what you're doing, but then also you want to be the best mom, and you want to, like, if
Totally.
something where like your daughter needed you, you're gonna be like, I'm done, I'm leaving this meeting, or I'm not, I can't be here for this. And
Yeah.
it's just different than before you had her. And so setting those boundaries, I'm so
Totally.
proud of you.
Yeah. And I'm interested to like see how I'm gonna navigate that road. I'm kind of in a heavy male dominated career
Yeah,
field, and so it'll be interesting to see. Thankfully, a lot of them aren't dads, but still very different.
very different.
Well, we'll see how that goes when I get back to work. I am excited to get back. Like, I think it'll be good for my brain. The postpartum brain fog too. Like, I thought pregnancy brain was bad, but like the postpartum brain fog is bad.
Yeah,
I'm hoping getting back into work, like I'll be able to make complete sentences again, and keep my train of thought for longer than a nanosecond.
it'll be an adjustment, but you're already setting yourself up. And I love that, because you've, I mean, we haven't really even talked about your birth, but we're on the topic of like postpartum, going back to work, those types of things. Do you have, I mean, you haven't gone yet, but do you have any like advice or things you would say to someone who's getting ready? Like, are there anything that you've done to like help prepare yourself mentally or physically to go back tomorrow that you feel like has helped you just feel better about it or
Um,
just more prepared?
so for me, like the one thing I was like pretty adamant about like this last week. So my last week of maternity leave and then into the weekend, I did like we didn't see anyone. Like, my mom lives up the road, so sometimes like it's hard not to see her.
Yeah.
But like my in-laws didn't come over. Like, it was a lot of just like me and my husband together, and just kind of bonding in that regard, like taking that coffee date, making dinner together. Like, one thing we do, which it's kind of weird, I guess, but cute, is we prop Winnie up on the dining room table, like in like her little like bouncy chair. And so we've been making sure we have like family dinner every night. And then, like, we're big travel people, but obviously with the newborn and everything, like health and safety is important to us. So I wanted to do something before I went back to work. And so we took a little staycation this last weekend. And I think that helped me like enjoy that quality time with the three of us. We did bring my mom and sisters did tag along, and that was great because they took Winnie and let Winnie sleep in their room for one night. And then my
Oh, that's
sister
nice.
realized she was like way too generous. She she has an 11 and 9-year old, so she forgot all about like the baby grunts and the baby
Oh,
noises.
yes,
And
yes.
she was like, she kept me up all night. And I was like, yeah, sorry. I thought you knew. But so that was really nice. And that's just kind of, I know I'm fully preparing myself when I pick up my Starbucks and head into the office tomorrow to have tears rolling down my face and just can't come home soon enough to snuggle. And the best thing I also did today was we had a 4-hour contact nap, and I just
Oh, that's
like
amazing.
I just didn't move. She fell asleep, like her mid-morning nap. She just fell asleep on my chest. My husband was like, "What can I do?" And I was like, "Whatever you want. Like, I don't care. I'm just not moving." So he did all the laundry, which was great.
That's awesome.
I should take a 4-hour contact nap way more often, I'm thinking. But no, so that would be like my biggest thing would be to just spend that time, especially if it's your first or if it's, even when I think of us having our second, like I'm like, that's something I want to do again is get away with both kids and just have that quality family time. Because one thing I keep looking at my husband and saying is when we have our second, we won't have, he won't be in between careers,
Yeah.
you know. So he paternity leave isn't as long as maternity leave. So he won't get all that time, So we'll never have this much quality time together again.
Hmm.
Um, and he won't have this much quality time with our second. So if and when we have a second, and so I just told him, I was like, just like savor it. Like I'm like, you get to be stay-at-home dad for a little bit, like just savor it. And so that's just kind of my biggest advice would just be like just savor the little moments. And I know everyone says it goes by so fast, and I'm normally someone that like rolls my eyes at those like cliches. I'm like so annoying, but it's totally true. And then like you're so exhausted with this like infant that's like cluster feeding and everything, and you're just kind of like, "Oh, I can't wait until they sleep." And then you see a newborn and you're like, wait, I want to go back to that stage. Because,
Yeah.
like we said, like it feels like January was forever ago, but also yesterday. And I feel like it was just, Memorial Day and I just held my baby for the first time. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
And okay, so your due date wasn't, okay, we're gonna go way down this road. It was what, May 27th, right? Was your original due date? Okay, because there were so many moms in the community whose due dates were May 27th. You guys
Yes.
all came in. I'm like, what happened? Like for it to be the same exact day, I was like, this is
Yeah.
wild. I can understand like different right around, but I'm like the same day. And then did you have her on the 26th?
Had her on the 26th. So
Okay, so one day
yeah.
before.
Hmm.
I haven't been able to hear the story yet. Are you willing
Oh,
to share that?
yes,
I
yes.
mean, I heard
So
pieces of it and stuff, but
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, so a little backstory is this is kind of goes into effect with, um, I guess I haven't told you the whole story. I had a good friend who actually gave birth to her daughter this Saturday before Mother's Day. So our girls are 2 weeks apart, like give or take, like 16 days apart. And so Brittany had her baby, and once my husband didn't come home until May 12th, I think.
oh my gosh, I
Yeah,
do
May
remember. It
12th.
was so close.
Yeah.
Yep.
So my husband didn't come home until May 12th. So like basically like once it became May, like I'm like standing on my head, like I'm like, you can't come out. But I like started having my like weekly checkups, and my doctor's like didn't check me didn't check me like when I was at my 36th week appointment. Didn't check me until I want to say my 39-week appointment, maybe 38, but definitely 39. No, 38. She checked me and I was 0% effaced, like nothing. But the day before my 38-week appointment, I thought my water broke.
Oh my.
And this might be TMI, but my
No such
husband
thing
had
around here.
my husband had come home on the third was home like on the 13th. We went in to triage on the 14th.
I can already see where this is going.
Hmm. I
Because you're not
woke up,
alone in this. You are not
no.
alone in this.
So I thought my water broke. And like my silk pajama shorts were wet. I was like, I think my water broke. And my husband's like, we had been joking my whole pregnancy that he would get home, we would celebrate him being home, and
Yep.
I would go into labor. And then he was just SOL for 6 months.
Yeah.
He'll be SOL for another like 8 weeks or however long I decide. Um, because it takes a while to get
It
back
does.
into wanting to be near them. So I go, I think my water broke. I called triage. I was like, I think my water broke. They're like, okay, come in. Like, we gotta check you. Like, you're 38 weeks. Like, it could happen. I was born 6 weeks early. So I throughout
Yep.
my whole pregnancy thought this baby was gonna come early because I came early. Thought she was gonna have FOMO and come early too. So we go in, the doctor's like, pulls out like the litmus test paper, I think it's called, and she tests me. She goes, your water didn't break. And she looks at us and she goes, did you guys have sex last night? And I was like, oh God, where's this going? And I was like, yes. And she was like, yeah. So, that's semen. That's not your water. And I was like, oh. She's like, you're 0% dilated, 0% effaced. Your bag's fully intact. No, you're not leaking. And then does an ultrasound and checks and baby's fine. Okay, so then I go to my doctor the next day and she goes, so you wanted to do a test run, I hear. And I was like, well, it's actually helpful because Alex didn't get to go on the hospital tour with me. Like, he got to see the whole place. So now we're ready when it's go time. And she's like, okay. So she checks me again at my 38-week appointment and she's like, again, you're 0%, like you're 0, 0, all aboard. She goes, I can't even get in there to attempt to strip your membranes. Like, she's up there. Like, she's comfy. I'm like, okay. So then I go through like the next week and like we're walking, I'm doing exercises. I'm like, I just want to get this baby out. And my
Mm-hmm.
doctor's telling me, because we're going, so there's two things with my labor. We're going into the holiday weekend with Memorial Day.
Mm-hmm.
And where I gave birth, they were opening a new labor and delivery ward. So they were like not doing a lot of inductions
Okay.
before Memorial Day, or they were doing a lot of inductions before Memorial Day. But then after Memorial Day, they weren't doing any inductions because they were moving to the new hospital. So she was like, you're gonna have to be 41 and 3 before I can induce you. Well, that sucks, but okay. So we go to my 39-week appointment and so this is now the Thursday before Memorial Day.
Okay.
And she goes, you're 0, 0 still. Damn it. Why isn't this, And at this point I look at Alex and I was like, we're going home and we're having sex 24/7 to get this baby out. Like, and he's like, I don't know, like, I don't really want to do that after last time, like, get our hopes up and then, like, it doesn't happen. I'm like, fine. So then I'm doing my exercises through you, but then I YouTube and I do this, like, YouTube inducing labor exercises, and we do them Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Like, and they're like 10-minute workouts, and I'm doing them like 3 times a day. I do them like 3 times on Friday, and I'm like, we got to do more. I'm chugging the raspberry leaf tea with the pineapple juice. I'm eating the dates. I'm doing everything, Becca. Like, I kid you not. Like, I'm doing anything. And then I Google and I'm like, okay, Alex, you got to go to Whole Foods and you got to get me clary sage oil and you got to rub these points on my feet. Like, we got to get this baby out. He was like, okay. He's like, are you just trying to get a foot rub? And I was like, yes, but I also want this baby out. So then Saturday comes. It's Saturday, and my mom lives my mom lives in Coronado near the beach, and they have like sand dunes. And I look at my husband and I say, we're gonna run the sand, we're gonna walk soft sand, and then we're gonna run the sand dunes. Run the sand
Oh
dunes.
yeah. Yep.
And I'm getting this baby out of me. And so we run the sand dunes. The sand's so hot, I get like a blister on like the back of
No.
like my toes. So like it's painful. And so we run the sand dunes Saturday. Nothing happens. I'm like still chugging the weird concoctions. The only thing was sworn I wouldn't do, and I didn't do it, was the oil. I wasn't
Yeah.
going to drink the castor oil. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't need to clear my intestines out. I'm not doing that. So Saturday comes and I'm like, okay, still nothing. Sunday, my friend who had her baby on Mother's or the Saturday before Mother's Day, she didn't, it was her sixth baby, so she didn't have a baby shower. So instead, that Sunday, she did a sip and see so we could all go see and meet her baby. And so, but it wasn't until like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So my mom had my 10-year-old nephew, and I called my mom and I was like, is Will at the house? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, ask him if he wants to go run the sand dunes. And he goes, Hilary, you can't run the sand dunes. The baby will fall out. And I was like, no, Will, like, that's the point. Like, we're trying to get this baby out. He goes, well, if we're running the sand dunes, I'm bringing scissors. And I was like, "Why?" He goes, "'Cause I gotta cut that white cord thing if the baby falls out." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Well, you can't run with scissors, kids. Like, it's against the rules. So, we're just gonna run and you'll just run to the lifeguard if the baby falls out, okay?" And he was like, "Okay." So he's like running, but like turning around to check on me, running, turning around to check on me, rerun. We do the whole sand dune thing. Still nothing. I go to Starbucks and I get like the venti passion tea lemonade. Like I'm doing all the things. And I'm like, this baby's not coming. So we go to the sip and see. Well, the girl, my friend sip and see, her husband played with Alex on Alex's first two Olympics. And like we're her husband and her set me and Alex up on a blind date. So like we're really close. He also happens to be like my cousin, distant cousin. So it's a party. Well, my husband, they have a like Aperol spritz bar. My husband's indulging. And I'm like, this jerk, I'm gonna go into labor tonight. I guarantee you I'm gonna go into labor tonight. And he has had a fun day drinking, and I'm gonna go into labor tonight. So I'm like uncomfortable, also just annoyed but uncomfortable. And so after the party wraps up, we all walk and go and get dinner someplace. And we're sitting at dinner, and I like eat like two steak tacos, and then like we're hanging out. And he's had like now he's enjoying a beer, and I'm just annoyed. Like, get me home. I'm gonna kill you. And so, long story short, we leave. And but I text my mom and I was like, "Have you been drinking? Like, have you had anything to drink since?" She was also at the sip and see. I was like, "Since this afternoon." She was like, "No." I was like, "Okay. I think it's happening tonight. Like, I just have this weird feeling it's happening tonight. So just be prepared." My 10-year-old nephew, who I ran the sand dunes with throughout my whole pregnancy, he like was like, okay, like when Hill goes into labor, like Gigi is what he calls my mom, you're gonna pick me up and we're gonna go to the hospital, right? My mom's like, no, well, like it's not a place. My sister's like, no, well, it's not a place. He goes, no, I gotta be there. I gotta be there when my cousin gets born. So he also was like, Gigi, I have to spend the night with you on Sunday. Before I said anything, he was like, the baby's gonna come and I have to be at your house. Um, so we get home, I take a shower, I like, take my prenatals, I take my Unisom, because that is also something I will say. I took Unisom almost every night of my pregnancy to sleep. And I like get into bed, and at 1:30 in the morning, I called it. I start feeling like the cramping, like bad. Like I'm like, oh my God, this is bad. So I take a hot shower, like I feel it in my lower back, I feel it. Take a hot shower, I get back in bed, and my bed was like too soft. Like I don't know if you experienced this, but like the bed was too soft. Like I couldn't like it was just it like hurt worse to be in bed. So I get up and I go downstairs and I like put on some bad TV. I'm watching TV. I'm bouncing on the ball. When a contraction comes, I'm getting on all fours, like I'm bracing myself. I go upstairs and I take another hot shower. And I'm like telling my husband, I'm like, you need to sleep because you need to sleep off yesterday's fun at this point. I'm gonna need you, like this is gonna be a marathon and you need to sleep because you're not gonna sleep like probably for a while. So you need to sleep. So finally around like 3:30, he comes downstairs and he's like, I can't sleep anymore. And I'm like, thank God, because I need some help. And thankfully with our doula, like she showed him how to like open my hips and like work on pressure points. So we're doing that. And by six, and I'm texting my mom and I'm like, hey, I'm pretty sure I'm in labor. Like, this is what's happening. Like, I'll keep you updated. And my mom, we have like a tub shower at our house, but my mom has one of those like giant soaking tubs in her bathroom. So I call her at like 6 and I'm like, Mom, can I come over to your house and sit in your bathtub? Like, I'm like, it's happening, whatever. It's like, yeah. So it's like 5:36. So we get to her house. I get in the bath. I'm uncomfortable, but like, okay, I'm breathing through. The bath's full of magnesium and Epsom salts because my mom's awesome like that. So I'm like relaxed, comfortable. And then like they start happening again. And so my contractions. And so it lasts about 10 minutes in the bath. And then I get out and I like just like I'm on all fours again. And my nephew sees me in the bathtub and he just comes out like the biggest eyes and the biggest smile, like, yes, I called it. It was actually really funny. So that made me laugh through the contraction. And then I like get in bed and my, my doula was like, you should probably eat something like high protein, eat some eggs, have a piece of toast, like get something in you, because when you go to the hospital, they're not going to let you eat. So eat something. I'm like, okay. So I try to eat something and then I'm like in the kitchen on all fours. Like and my contractions at this point are like 6 to 7 minutes apart. Like they're getting more intense. And I go upstairs and I lay down again. And I finally, I was trying to make it till 8 a.m. because that's when my doctor was going to be on call that day. And I was trying to make it to 8 a.m. so I could talk to the doctor and not have to call into triage. Because I didn't want them to be like, well, did you have sex again? Like, I was really trying to like make it. And finally it was like 7:30 and it was a holiday. It was Memorial Day. So I call and they're like, well, if you're uncomfortable, like you can come in. Well, from my mom's house to the hospital, it's about a 45-minute drive. So I was so nervous that I was going to get to the hospital and they'd be like, you're not dilated enough, like we can't admit you. And then I'd have to drive home that 45 minutes and then it would be really go time. Like I was just anxious. So I also wanted to like span it out as long as possible. And so they're like, no, come in. And I was like, okay. So we go in and it's dead because it's a holiday. So my hospital wasn't doing any inductions or C-sections, that like non-emergency sections, like anything scheduled. Nothing was being scheduled that day. So labor and delivery was empty. So they put me into triage, they check me, and they're like, yeah, you're 3 centimeters dilated and 90% effaced and like zero distation. So she's there. They're like, so we're admitting you. I'm like, okay. So I get into my room and probably like now it's like 7, like it's 8. And by 8:45, my doctor's in the room and she's like, oh, your bag's bulging. She goes, it's like it's gonna pop any minute. She goes, let me find where she goes, do you want an epidural? And I was like, yes. She was like, okay. So she's like, let me find the anesthesiologist. She goes, if I want to break your water and then get your epidural, because that normally doesn't slow things down. She goes, from what from what I've seen a lot of times. So anesthesiologist was in between two emergent C-sections, could come in and give me my epidural. And she like pops my water, gives me my epidural, and that was about like I didn't get my epidural actually until like 10:30. And so we just hung out all day. My labor was pretty easy. I mean, the epidural kind of helped you coast. My husband and I watched bad reality TV. Since I was progressing a little fast, I asked my mom to come hang out with us, and my mom came and hang out with us. What also made my delivery experience really cool was my one of my best friends is a NICU nurse, and she was placed at the hospital where I was giving birth that day. So it was slow in the NICU with it being a holiday, and they didn't have any emergency C-sections. So she got to come and hang out with us. So it was just kind of like we were just all hanging out, joking, laughing. And then at around 6:30, my nurse was like, "I'm gonna check you again, see where you are." She goes, "I want you to have this baby before I'm off." And she goes, "I'm off at 7:30. So like I've been with you all day. I want you to have this baby." I'm like, "Okay." She's like, "You're about 9.5, and like a little bit of she goes, like, barely any of your cervix is there. She's like, "Let's do some practice pushing and see if we can get her like just like over that little bit of your cervix." Or like, yeah. And I was like, "Okay." She goes, "We're gonna do 3 practice pushes and see what happens." I get to like practice push 2, and she's like, "Okay, stop." She goes, "You're too good at this." She's like, "We got to get the doctor up here, like, and dressed and everything." She goes, "If I go any farther, she's gonna yell at me." She's like, "So like, calm down." She goes, "You're doing so great." And so my doctor comes up, whatever, we get everything situated, and we started the practice pushes at 6:30. We started really pushing at 6:40, and she was born at 7 p.m. on the dot. So 10 pushes, 20 minutes of like actual pushing in labor. And like, I think I told you this when I messaged you, like, if it wasn't for doing the breath work and learning how to breathe and like control my breath, and then like kind of doing the practice of like laboring, like I did, like kind of try to practice like pushing on the toilet and stuff like that. Like even with the epidural, just knowing, because you can't feel anything, right? Like, so just knowing how like to engage my body and or put my body in that position to get her to push out. Like she came out within 20 minutes, zero tearing. Like I think I had something like minor on the side, and my doctor was like, "Could give you a stitch, I could not give you a stitch." She goes, "I'll just give you a stitch to be safe, but you really don't need it." And so it was a really like easy delivery and birth, and to the point that when after I gave birth and everything, my doctor looked at me and the nurse said, "So when you go into labor next time, just come to the hospital." They're like, "Because you don't want the baby on the highway." And I was like, "Got it." But I do think it all contributes to what I did to lead up to that moment, to have that experience, and I think that's a true testament when you read, all of your testimonials of your community. Like a lot of ours are all very similar that follow the program like like strictly, and like do things to keep moving and keeping our bodies in shape, because it does work. Like, there's a science and everything behind what you're doing. And if anything, like then after birth and like being in postpartum, like granted I couldn't really move that well, because of the epidural wearing off and whatnot. But then once I was able to move, like the nurses were like, I would do laps in the hallway, and you brought up movement, and one of the first people who came to visit me the day after I gave birth was my uncle, who's a primary care physician. And he was asking me, so when did you move last? How much fluids are you drinking? Like all of those things.
On
Because
it.
he
Yeah.
goes, if you don't move, like this is going to be worse for you. And so I was walking laps around labor and around my like floor. And the nurses were like, whoa, you walk around this unit faster than we do. And I was like, well, I've always been told like you heal faster when you move, so I'm moving. And I do think that's true because when I left, by the time I left the hospital, and another thing, actually, before I go back I'll go back to that, but also being a part of this community, like, so thankful that Winnie was born with Coombs positive, she got some of my negative antibodies, and like being able to put that in the chat and hear that you had a baby that was Coombs positive.
It wasn't me.
Eh,
That was another mom. But yeah.
oh, a different
Yeah. I
mom?
just shared it
I
to
thought
you.
that was
Yep.
you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Nope. That's okay.
But said that she had a baby who was Coombs positive and everything worked out. Like, because for us, I loved my labor and delivery experience. My postpartum experience at the hospital wasn't the best.
I think that's a
Um,
lot of hospitals is
yeah,
that mama mate. It's not great.
but also being on a holiday, they didn't have like my postpartum nurses. The rest of my stay were fantastic, but the night that I got into postpartum was awful. And that's when they come in and they're like, "Oh, your baby's Coombs positive," and they just like handed us this paper. My husband's asleep. I just ran like 3 marathons.
Yeah.
Like, I
You're
don't know
not
what
with
this
it.
means.
Yep.
Like, and so I thought, oh, okay, like, cool, she's Coombs positive. Like, does that mean she needs like an extra vitamin K shot? Like, I had no idea. Nothing was explained to me. And then the next day, the pediatrician comes in to meet her and is like, okay, so like, you guys will probably get out of here Wednesday or Thursday at the earliest. And I'm like crying because the OB that was on call came in and checked me and she was like, okay, I'm going to write up your discharge papers. You can go. But like my baby couldn't go, so like we were stuck there, for a few extra days because the my baby was, needed some extra care and attention. And so having the mom community that you have and being able to ask those questions, because granted that mom was just had her fourth baby, and I'm having my first. And so it's like to have the experience of everyone, like, you're not in it alone is what the community didn't show me. And then, you're doing so much to keep us, you know, prepare us to give birth and help us after birth. But to have the other moms to be like, hey, is this normal? Is this not normal? It's way better to talk to another mom than WebMD.
Yeah, it is. And go down the Google rabbit hole of like
Yeah,
terrible.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so I will say, like, from doing all the exercises and stuff, what I wanted to say is when I went home, like, my bleeding, like, you bleed, obviously, but I would say, like, it wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. Um, it lasted, a little bit longer than I expected, but it wasn't terrible. And I do think that is because, you know, you worked on your muscles and conditioned your muscles and your uterus and everything to give birth, that like the aftermath wasn't as bad.
Awesome. And I love, so you were talking about, and this goes like way back, but you're talking
Mhm.
about how the testimonials are all the same. But if you listen to all of your birth stories, they are so different. Like,
Mhm.
not a single birth story is like the same or even similar. Like, they are all so different, but they all end. I mean, not every single person ends without having, like, there's some C-section moms, like this
Yeah.
isn't a completely preventable. There's some
Mhm.
necessary reasons for that. And there are some moms who do have like a grade 2 tear, but I don't think, knock on wood, that I've had a mom yet with like grade 3, grade 4.
Yeah.
So even though like births don't go as planned, your situation was just baby was hanging on, like
Mhm.
just making you wait till the last minute. But I get a lot of moms too. Like right now, I've just sent a mom a message because she's been having to, long story short, she's like testing positive for preeclampsia, 37 weeks. They're like, we
Mm,
have to really monitor you. We might have to induce you. It might be right away, or we might be able to hang on. But you don't plan for that when you get pregnant.
mm,
You don't think about that. You don't prepare for that. You don't and how would you prepare for that? And like, even as someone who has education and knowledge throughout a lot of this,
mm.
I wouldn't know
Yeah.
necessarily to plan or prepare. So I think it's nice to be able to ask questions or just to have support. But you did it all though. Like you have been like, obviously I've been following pictures and how your birth's
Mhm,
been postpartum and you're working out and like you're feeling better. Like you're looking like yourself. Like, and
mhm,
maybe it's social media and you don't feel quite, but it sounds like your mental health is there too. Like that
mhm.
is so important.
I will say something that I recently, actually, my mom said it. And so, because someone said to her, like, wow, she's doing so well. And my mom stayed with us for a while. And there's something to be said about like multi-generational living.
Oh, for sure.
Like, that helps with the postpartum. And so we're so blessed with that my mom was staying with us. I remember she stayed with us basically for like the first 2 weeks of Winnie's life. And I remember when she left, I was like, wait, no, like come back. You can't leave. No, like seriously, come back. We can't do this. We're not like what like no. But she's truly been like the biggest blessing and hope. And yes, like I think the biggest thing is like I get up and I get out. I try to get up and get out every day. I would say my darkest days were when I didn't get up and get out and do something. Even if it's as simple as going and getting a cup of coffee, you know, or going for a walk, whatever it may be, but just like getting up and getting out like has been the best for me. But there's definitely some dark days. It's definitely not easy. There's definitely been some days where I'm like, am I developing, postpartum? Is this normal? I also have a therapist that I've worked with for at least the last like 12 years of my life. With her, like, she's like, no, like, you're dealing with life changes. So keep that in mind. Like, you might not necessarily be depressed, but it is totally overwhelming. You're responsible for another human.
And your
Like,
hormones are all over the place.
your hormones
All
are all
over.
over the place. And everyone, like, in our case, like, Winnie on my side of the family is, don't make me do the math, but the young, like, on my dad's side alone is like the 20th grandchild,
Okay.
great grandchild from my
Okay.
dad's parents. And on Alex's side, she's the first. So it's like totally different. Like my family's, telling me and giving me all sorts of advice. And then his family is doesn't really understand the boundaries that we're setting. And so it's one of these things like where we're trying, I'm very sensitive. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings or, sometimes you want to tell that aunt or that cousin like, yeah, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm also the youngest on from my side of the family. I'm the youngest cousin. So I'm like, I've seen you guys all have babies. Like I was observing, like, you know, I do know what I'm doing. And then on his side, it's like, well, this is what we're doing because this is how we want to do it. And it might be a little different, but to kind of
Yeah.
share that difference. And so that's overwhelming because there's a lot of people you have to like make happy, and I don't want to offend anyone. I don't want to ruffle any feathers. Like I'm not that kind of mom or that kind of person, so it's hard to like find that mix, and that's all overwhelming while postpartum and hormonal. Like sometimes I'm like, honey, I have to stay out this one because I don't want to say something I can't take back.
Nope. That's knowing your boundaries. Like that's
Yeah,
setting your own boundaries. And I think that's
exactly.
important.
Yeah.
So, and having all of that support, like we talk about, it takes a village. it's seriously like your pregnancy takes a
Hmm.
village, postpartum, and I don't know if it doesn't seem like you had to ask a lot for help, but sometimes you have to ask and you have to accept. And that can be really hard for some moms, is to be able to ask for help and accept help, because there are people who love you, who want to help you and support you, who are
And
right
that
here.
was super hard for me. Like, one thing I did, just because I'm not a picky eater by any means, I just knew what I wanted to eat and didn't want to eat postpartum. So I did meal prep myself, like before I gave birth, and everything, because I was going stir crazy there at the end. So I was like, okay, what can I make us so we have food and like we're good to go. So, like, but it is true, like, accept the help, accept the family, like, wanting to come and help you do laundry and whatever. I mean, that was the biggest blessing. Like, if my mom didn't come and stay with us when she did, I think my hospital bag still would be in the laundry room, like, waiting to be washed. As gross as that sounds, it's true because,
Yeah.
like, the laundries,
It can
the
wait.
it can wait.
Can wait until it can't.
Buying baby clothes, I know, but buying baby clothes is the best thing ever. So if you told me, oh, she doesn't have a onesie to wear, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna go to Target or Walmart and buy her a whole new wardrobe. Like, that's fine. But no, yeah, like it can all wait, but accept the help. You're totally right, because your family wants to help and but also my biggest thing is I do what we've told our family too a few times. It's been like, do you want to help or do you just want to hold the baby? Because if you want to just hold the baby, just say, hey, I'd really like to come over and hold your baby. You know,
Yeah,
that too.
that's fair
Like
too.
that's like a big boundary that I'm like, I, like I said, I'm the youngest, so people just want to come and love on my baby. And I'm like, I don't need the casserole. But if you want to come and love on my baby, like come and love on my baby, because she would love her to experience that she's loved by so many people. But I don't need necessarily often need stuff. So that is something that we've, you know, had to tell people too. Or I'll just be like, if you want to bring something, bring diapers because they're expensive and we go through them.
Yeah. Save the casserole, bring a pack of diapers or wipes, please.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah. Those will gladly take. I don't need the hundreds of pasta dishes. I was laughing with one of my girlfriends. It's like when you have a baby or you get sick, like and you can't cook, everyone brings you lasagna, and it's like probably the last thing I should be eating right now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
That's so
not rude,
fair.
but
Yeah.
like, yeah, I mean, the sentiment and the thought's great, but yeah, that is definitely,
I love
yeah.
that. You have so many good points and like I think advice for moms in different perspectives. That's the word
Hmm.
I'm looking for. You have a lot of different perspectives, which I think is nice to have because everybody's situation is a little bit different and it can be
Totally.
hard to navigate all of those
Yes.
changes
The
and families.
yes. And I don't know if you saw, I made a little post the other day, but the number one thing, if I could go back and change anything that I packed in my hospital bag, like I will tell you this, like the one thing is I wish, and I don't know why like influencers haven't suggested this yet, but the disposable underwear, it doesn't matter what brand you bought. I had the Frida ones, I had the cheap ones from the hospital. Doesn't matter. They chafed the hell out
So
of my
bad.
legs.
Oh,
So, my number one recommendation is they don't have to be cute because no one cares, but buy them like a size or two bigger so the jumbo pads can fit in them. But like the soft, just like boy short, like Hanes underwear, Fruit of the Loom Hanes underwear, just to have those because you'll thank yourself later. Because no matter what, like the boy shorts like roll up, and I don't know, mine, like I literally had like a
I
rash on
do
my
remember seeing that.
thighs.
That's
Yeah,
terrible. I
yeah.
did. Well, I don't know if it was Fruit of the Loom or not, but honestly, I still wear them sometimes to bed because they're so comfortable. But they're the high waisted, I think they're just like bikini. I don't know, but
Hmm.
they're like high weight, like they go to my belly button.
Yeah,
They did
that's what
not go to
these
my
are.
belly button postpartum, but
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. They're like these ones are also high-waisted, but they're like the boy shorts, so they could
okay,
like fit like the
all
jumbo
the things.
pads.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yep.
it's
Nope.
like
Buy the high-waisted underwear is what we're trying to tell you, because you'll
yes.
use it forever.
And then buy like the super soft like button-up nightgowns.
Oh my God, yes. I had one from Target that it's up at the lake. I still have it.
Yeah,
So soft. It's worth it. You'll wear it
yeah.
even if you're not pregnant or postpartum. You will still
No,
wear it.
and like Old Navy is where I got mine, and it was perfect. And then what was the one? Oh, and then my nurses thanked me for not packing anything white.
Oh, yeah.
So I had like pink Birkenstock slides, and they were like the rubber Birkenstocks, and they were
Yeah.
like, "Thank you for bringing rubber shoes and everything." She goes, "The amount of girls that bring like their fluffy slippers." She goes, "You're in a hospital, gross things happen.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like
Yeah.
pack stuff that they
Can
can
be
hose
cleaned.
off for you, I
Yeah.
guess."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. No, that's a good one too. Did you bring your
yeah.
own pillow and blanket at all?
I did. We did.
Yeah.
I just put pink pillowcases on them. It wasn't to look aesthetic, but it was because I didn't want them to take my pillows.
Yeah. Be confused.
Yeah, so that and then the stroller fan, because then you can wrap the stroller fan around the arm of the hospital bed for when you start getting those postpartum sweats.
Oh, that's a good idea. They have the clip ones too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I like the wrap and the clip. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and then always bring your own water cup because my hospital didn't have those like clutch ones that like everyone talks about. They had the just like the regular like pour ones that
Well,
everything.
you always want more water than what they give you. So if you bring your own
Yeah,
cup and it's like a 40 ouncer, like
yeah,
you at least have that for a good amount of time.
exactly. Exactly. And then just make sure you pack snacks.
Yes. Snacks and
Yeah.
hydration
Yes.
for you and your
Yes.
husband because you both will need them.
Yes.
You
Yes.
both will need
Yes.
them. So make sure it's something that you both can eat.
I did give my husband like strict rules though on his snacks because I was nervous about him crunching and that driving me nuts while I was in labor. So maybe be nicer than I was because I told him he couldn't have his all-time favorite snack while I was in labor. So
Hey,
I was
sometimes it's
like, I
about
don't want to smell
compromise. You're giving
peanuts.
birth.
So
Yeah. You were giving birth and that's the compromise he made, you know?
exactly,
It's all right.
exactly. I thought it was fair. I didn't send
Communication.
him down to the hospital cafeteria to get a hamburger, but I was like, you go feed yourself because you can't have food up here. That was also a no-go.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That is fair. I love it. I'm writing these things down because I think I already have them though, because I was doing a what to pack in your hospital bag.
Mm.
And then I think I have 6 things not to do postpartum. I'm going to be putting that
Um,
out there soon.
Definitely, my biggest thing is I went for a 2-mile walk the day after I got released. Yeah, don't do that.
Probably not the best idea.
Yeah. Also, actually, no, Becca, the number one thing that I stopped doing because I was feeling so great, girls, continue to take your Motrin and Tylenol postpartum for at least 4 or 5 days. You will more than likely get a fever when your milk gets in.
Well, some people get like mastitis and stuff early on.
No, no, I just got a fever. I didn't get
Oh my
mastitis. I
gosh.
wasn't in pain. I just got the full on chills and had 102 fever.
Oh my goodness.
My doctor I called the like on-call physician. They almost sent me to the ER. I would almost had to take my brand new baby to like the general ER. Um, but I took Tylenol and Motrin and it went down and then it came back. And I talked to another on-call doctor and she was like, it's because your milk's coming in. And she goes, most females don't realize this because they continue to take their Motrin and Tylenol. But since you've stopped,
That's interesting.
you,
I don't remember
you
taking it that long.
did you take it after you left the hospital though?
I was only in the
I
hospital 24 hours. Like
so but
legit.
also yeah, but also because she was Coombs positive,
You were there for.
they had me pumping.
Oh, okay.
before I left the hospital. So so it had my milk come in faster.
Interesting. I need Jamie to come in and talk about this. She's IBCLC,
Yeah.
so
Okay.
International Board
Yeah.
Certified Lactation Consultant.
I could be full of
No,
crap.
you
But
have great. I want to know the science behind it though. Like I want to
yeah.
know why. I want to know.
Yeah.
And
So
also
she
there's so many like misconceptions about so many things that we go through
mhm,
that, like you said, it's just normal, whatever. And so many that correlate to breastfeeding too. I'm not saying that this is one of them.
yeah.
But it's just like and it, who it affects? It affects us as moms.
Yeah.
And like we deserve better. You deserve better. And so that's
Totally.
where it's like, I want to know whatever I can, because obviously I work with you guys all and I want to be giving
Mhm.
you not just, oh, it's just normal. I want to be giving you like, this is why it's happening and this is what we can do, or
Yeah.
that is normal, but here's some things that you can do that might help. But it's it's just something that kind of happens and it's how our bodies adjust to, you know what I mean?
Totally.
So
Totally.
yeah, but this was awesome. I'm so glad that you came on
Yeah.
and shared
Thank
your
you so much for
story.
having me. This was
Yeah,
fun.
it was. So, if I'm ever in San Diego, I'm hitting you up for sure.
Yes,
I want
yes,
to go get a
please
coffee
do.
with you.
Yes, please do. I mean, I feel like you have to come out at least once with your kiddos and go to the zoo and stuff.
Oh yeah. You know what? We're gonna have to put that on our list and make it
Yes.
happen
It's a
sometime. And
must. Like the
yeah.
zoo is a must.
Okay.
And like the
All right.
beach and stuff, but the zoo's a must.
I will be remembering that.
Okay.
So awesome. Well, for the
Awesome.
listeners, we will be back next week. Do you have anything to add, Hilary? Or
I
okay.
don't. I don't. But thank you so much for having me and tell them mom is currently pregnant. Good luck. It's
Got it.
amazing.
Yeah,
You've
it
got
is.
this.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. It's been so awesome watching you.
Well, thank
Okay.
you.
Until next week.
See you.
Nothing is TMI when it comes to motherhood, and common doesn't necessarily mean normal. Always trust your gut and never stop advocating for the care you deserve. If you enjoyed this podcast, help it reach more mamas like you by subscribing and leaving a review on your preferred listening platform. Keep in touch with me on Instagram by following Pelvic Floor Mama. See you next time.